Hello, hello, Ignacy Portal Games, and this is another seminar at PortalCon Online. This is the online convention that we are holding for our fans, and we have a contest, we have Q&As, we have a board game stand-up, all kind of jazz, different events. This one is for all fans of Neuroshima Hex, and for all fans of 51st State, and for all fans of Neuroshima Convoy. Portal Games many years ago, in 2001, released a game called Neuroshima role-playing game. It became a major hit and bestseller in Poland, and out of this success we created board games and card games, and many years later it turned out that Portal Games is quite a worldwide known international publisher of board games. We no longer publish a role-playing game, but the board games that were inspired by this role-playing game are still printed, are still popular, still expansions are released to this board game. So yesterday we announced a new expansion for 51st State, Neuroshima 51st State. Yesterday we announced a new app. Portal Games Digital is releasing Neuroshima Convoy app. So Neuroshima, even though no longer published in the form of role-playing game, is still for our fans, for you, living. And most of our fans, international fans from Australia, from America, from Chile, from Brazil, from Japan, from China, had chance to play these board games, had chance to play these card games, but never had chance to play a role-playing game, because the role-playing game was never translated into the English. And today's seminar, this 45 minutes seminar, is about this role-playing game, to talk about the world of the game, or lore of the game, and what was interesting in this game. So here we are. I see Neuroshima Hex fans from Poland. Let me know if there are also Neuroshima Hex and other, basically the word Neuroshima fans from other countries. So let me know which country you are from and which Neuroshima game you play. If you're a fan of Neuroshima Hex, if you're a fan of Neuroshima Convoy, if you're a fan of 51st State, or maybe you're just a fan of Portal Games and you never played any of these Neuroshima games, but you're just here to engage and enjoy the convention. So let me know in the comments. I have all this stream here so I can watch it and be with you, engaging. And let me start the story of Neuroshima. This is the first edition of the book. This is how it looked. In many interviews, I always was saying it was a thick book. It was a big book. Now you can see it. It has 480 pages, so almost 500 pages. And this is a very small font. This is like really a lot of text. And this is it. And we released it many years ago. And as I said, it became a phenomenon in Poland. 51st State, Hex in app, Hawaii, fan of IP, etc. Never played anything the Hex world, says Bill Kennedy. We will see if I will convince you to this amazing world. So Neuroshima Hex, as I said, 2001, as far as I remember, a 500 pages book, and it became a huge success in Poland. Over the years, we released this amazing leather-bound edition, special limited edition of the game. I have here with me in my collection the numbered one, so number 22 with my signature and all other designers. So this is like item for the charity auctions, etc. So this for, remember, West Virginia and Ohio and 51st State all the way, kind of hello, just here to watch and never played any of these games. So learn about the world and see what we have. And this is how the game looks like today. We are releasing it in a hardbound, hardcover version. It is called the Neuroshima Edition 1.5. So we fixed some of the mistakes, some of the problems in the game. It has this amazing map of America, and once again, hundreds of material in the game. As you can see here on the table, Neuroshima role-playing game had quite a successful line of expansion. So this is all we released over the years, all together. How many of these expansions we did? Let me check. 21 expansions, thousands of pages of lore for the game. So as you can see, it was really successful. A ton of expansions, and let me just very quickly race one. It was about the Detroit and the racing scene. Amazing expansion. I really love it. Gladiator, the professional book, so about the profession of gladiator. And then we have a supplement. It was a very simple expansion with some new rules, some essays about designing game, a very simple one. Then we had the Detroit. Do we have any fans from Detroit here? And Detroit received a full amazing, let me check how many pages. We wrote 250 pages about Detroit, never been in Detroit, but we were making stuff up. It was amazing nation book for the game. Then we had Krew Irza, which was a Blood and Rust, and it was the collection of ideas for the adventures, so for the game masters. And then we have Kill the Rat, the adventure, the whole adventure for the game. And then we had Hero 2, and it was a thing with the new rules for the creating heroes, special abilities, new items, new equipment, etc. So like a player's book. And then we have the Miami, once again 200 pages about Miami. We have never been in Miami when we were writing that, so it was making up and stuff about Miami. And then Lost City adventure in the Indiana Jones style. And then we have Pirates expansion about playing on the seas with the ships and pirates and that kind of stuff, and so on and so on and so on. A ton of amazing content over the years, written a big part of my life in a short word. And Kenneth says he recognized some of the art of the covers from the 51st State. The most famous one is probably this one. You remember this from the 51st State game, and it was previously, originally it was a cover for the Game Master expansion. It was an expansion called Game Master. It was the tricks how to run a good game of Neuroshima role-playing game. And yes, we had New York, for example, expansion, nation book, and many more. So this is as for the products. We also released for Neuroshima this amazing big box campaign. So it was a campaign with goodies, with the special maps and special books inside and all the goodies. And there was mini games, and there was something like that, so you can use. And there was like a fake newspaper from the world of Neuroshima and a postcard. And as I said, there was a solo game that you can play, and there was a huge campaign about players escaping from the Moloch. They were prisoners of Moloch, and they tried to escape. Moloch ran away from the city of machines. So there was a ton of content for Neuroshima role-playing game. We also were publishing a monthly magazine about role-playing games, and most of this magazine, of course, was dedicated to Neuroshima. So there was new adventures, new rules, new locations. Here we have, for example, new machines, new monsters that you can face. And it was a monthly magazine dedicated to role-playing games. So this is like a short history. I believe that in the future we can record the whole video about the history of Neuroshima Hex in terms of the publishing, what products, what was interesting about this product. But today we are talking about the lore of the game. So after this first 10 minutes intro, let me dive into the world of Neuroshima. So the most important thing that you all know, depending if you play Neuroshima Convoy, 51st State, or the Evil, the machines, the story with the Moloch is that when we were starting designing Neuroshima, Michael had this notepad with all these ideas for the post-apocalyptic end of the world. And there was there is a huge winter, for example, and everything is in freezing, and there was a radiation bomb and whatever. And one of these ideas was the machines rebellion, like in Terminator. And I really liked this idea, and I said, Michael, let's do a rebellion of machines, but let's do it in a epic scale. There's something that just wakes up, attacks people, and it changes the whole world. And that's how Moloch was born. We have one of these first illustrations of the Moloch that shows how we were seeing this thing. And so the thing was that on the September 5th, 2020, the machines, the AI, starts attacking humans. There is a huge war, and humans are attacked by machines, but not like a Terminator way, like shooting people. But no, suddenly airplanes go down. Suddenly, all the infrastructure starts rebelling against humans. Cars stop driving. Internet doesn't work. Just AI just turned off everything, and humans are in trouble and start dying. And over the years, Moloch, the machine, start to build their own world, and as in this illustration, they start in the north of America and just slowly build up, and they take control over all the industry, all the fabrics and the big places, and they change it to just no humans, just machines, just steel, and just building up and moving slowly moving south. And it was a dreadful vision, it was a horror vision, but we loved it. Having this amazing, epic, evil conqueror who's moving his forces, he's building up, he's taking control over the industry, he's taking control over the different fabrics, and moving south, kilometer and mile after mile after mile, week after week, slowing and like a roller, just killing everything on its path. So this was the beginning, and then we started designing other factions, other events, other things. And I have here some of the notes. Of course, in this seminar, I will not be able to deal with everything, but I have a couple of these most important things for the Neuroshima world. And Kenneth says September 2020 is coming. I know when the whole COVID situation started, and we were terrified. Michael and me, Michael Oracz, co-writer for the games, and me, Ignacy, we predicted many years ago that there will be trouble in 2020, but we fought Moloch and we have COVID. Things are not very funny. Chevy asked if the name Moloch means anything. This is made-up word, so there's, if you look in the dictionary in Poland, there is not a word like a Moloch, but you can understand like this made-up word that has some meaning, like you can feel it, and it somehow means something huge, like Moloch means something epically big, and that's how we saw the Moloch. So what we have in this world, the most important thing that blows mind if you think for the moment. And that's how we created the whole world in terms of having adventure hooks and ideas for the game masters. There is no communication. So when Moloch attacks, there is no internet, there is no radio, there is no TV, and suddenly everybody is like in a different world because you have no communication between humans. So all the cities are not connected together. There is no communication between humans. And over the years, when the war goes on, you lose connection with other people. You lose the exchange of the information, and suddenly, maybe slowly, all these villages become very autonomical with no exchange of the information, and strange things start happening. So you can have this small village that is now run by some psycho monk who starts his rebellion and religion war, and here you have some other village run by some sheriff who said that Texas Rangers will save everything, and he wants to build the Texas Rangers. And then you have the other city when there is no government, that is communism one, and because there was some communist spy, for example. So every location you visit in a Neuroshima world, every location you visit when you play a role-playing game in Neuroshima is like a mini world, and it gives a ton of ideas for the players, for the game master, because each of these locations is very different. There is no everything is unique. Small villages, and the whole world is scattered in the small societies, and these are like small worlds for the game master. We also introduced the whole change into the transaction system. There is no cash, there is no money, there is no wire transfers. So players and the humans in this world have to trade in a different way. And we came up with this idea of having 3 currencies that exchange each other. So one of the currency was bullets for the guns. The other one was pills, medicine, and the last one was fuel. So therefore there were these 3 currencies. And when you play a role-playing game, when you play Neuroshima role-playing game, you might have, for example, 20 bullets, 20 pills, and for example 1 liter or 1 gallon of fuel. And this is your money, and you go to the pub, you go to some village, and you buy something, and you exchange this currency. So it was very thematic, it was very cool. There was a lot of ideas for the adventures for players when they want to buy something but they have not enough currency, or they want to have different currency. And this is also very interesting point of this game. The other thing that is very famous in Neuroshima world is called tornado, and this is basically idea that came up from Michael Orach, and this is like a tribute from us, especially from Michael Orach, but from me as well, tribute to Philip K. Dick, amazing writer, American writer, from science fiction writer Philip K. Dick. You might know his novels like Ubik and many more. I know, of course, the titles in Polish, so it's hard for me to tell them in English. Maybe chat can help me. What are the English names and titles for the books from Philip K. Dick? A Man in the High Castle, I believe this is the title in English. So tornado, the idea that Michael came up is a drug that somehow showed up in the world after the attack of the Moloch. And this drug, when you take it, it moves you, like your mind. Yes, you have a vision. It moves you into the body of the human, some random person, to the day 5th of September 2020, and this vision takes few hours till the moment of the attack of the Moloch, and the vision ends with the death of this person. Which is now, if you think about this, quite crazy, right? People in this world of Neuroshima, the world of everything is ruined, is a post-apocalyptic, the world is terrible, you have a war with machines, you have no food, it's terrible. But you have this tornado, you have this drug, you can take it, and for a couple of hours you can live in a vision, but you can live in a world before the war. You can go to McDonald's, you can go to the theater, you can find a nice place to eat a dinner, you can just enjoy the calm afternoon, you can live like people used to live, this amazing life, colorful, chill out with the iPhones and computers, you can go to the casino and go to the swimming pool, amazing times. But this whole vision ends up you dying. Like you feel like you are dying because this person is killed by machines somehow, and the vision ends. And when the vision ends, we have this rule that this character has, it is called tornado blues. For many hours, he's devastated because he felt this amazing world before war. He felt this amazing world he lost. And now he is back in this shitty post-apocalyptic world, and he's devastated. So that was, as I said, tribute to Philip K. Dick. It was idea from Michael Orach, and it is a very important part of the game. And many game masters use this trick during the adventures to give players some tornado to move action to the modern times, and then just punch them in the face. Now you are dead, and you are back in the world, and this world sucks, and you have these tornado blues. That was amazing idea from Michael Orach. The other idea that Michael Orach came up with, and also is very Philip K. Dick-ish, is a concept for orbital. So what Michał came up with was that when the war started, when the Moloch attacks, there are cosmonauts, astronauts in the orbit station in space. And there is an attack, there is no communication, they are there, they have no communication with the land, with the earth, they know something happened, they see there is a war, but nobody is responding to them, and there is this radio silence. And it takes years. And they are on this station, they have no communication, they hear nothing from Earth because Moloch, the bad guys, the robots, don't communicate with them. But Orbital thinks, understands, believes that there are some humans living. So Orbital is sending information to the Earth, so somebody can, using some radio transmitters, hear it. And you have super depressing, pessimistic auditions when they are saying, we are there in the space, we think you have a war, we hope somebody survived. If you survived, this message from the orbital, this message from the space, we don't know what's going on there, so we want to help you. In case you have a trouble, this is how you can heal sickness. This is how you can build a simple radio. This is how you can build a simple weapon. And they are educators, they are teachers because they are scientists. And they want to pass the knowledge because they know that there is a huge shit out down there, and they need to help people to get back to life. So there is like this very awkward, very twisted, very sick idea of schooling and teaching from the space, from the astronauts who have no knowledge if anybody is listening, if anybody is alive, and they just want to pass the human knowledge to anybody down there. So this once again a very Philip K. Dick concept from Michael Orage, and that's also very, very terrifying if you play during the session, during the game session. It builds a very strong moments at the game station, at the role-playing game station. One of the things that we also introduced here is that every character, every person is sick. They have some sickness because Moloch takes no prisoners. It's not a joy. He just attacks with the poisoned weapon. He attacks with the gas. He doesn't care about any laws about protecting human life. So basically, the air is polluted, the water is polluted, and everybody is in deep, deep troubles. And Moloch doesn't need a clean air, he doesn't need clean water, so there's a ton of pollution, and everybody has some sickness, some illness. And when you create the character in Neuroshima role-playing game, you have the table where you roll what sickness your character has, what medicine he has to take, how often he has to take this medicine. And this is also one of the very important moments during every adventure when you play Neuroshima role-playing game, to get this medicine, to have this medicine, to have these symptoms of the sickness, to have these problems with your character. And on one hand, you are the hero, you are playing role-playing game, you are shooting somebody, etc. But you also have this sickness, you have this weakness, and it is terrible. And you know that at some point you will be out of the medicine, and that's it. There is no fabrics, there is no laboratories, there is nobody who produces new medicine. So you have this supply, you are looking for some old warehouses, for some old spaces where you can find medicine, but basically you are getting low, and you know that at some point there will be no medicine for you, and that's it, and this is it. So once again, very depressing, a very serious element of the game. Everybody is sick, people are just dying because there's no new medicine produced. Kostas, hello Kostas, on the Facebook he asked, I always wanted to know how the name Neuroshima came up and what does it mean. So the name Neuroshima is taken from it is the title of the song from the metal band. Michael Orage listened to heavy metal. I'm not sure if he listened to that right now, but back then, this 20 years ago when we were writing this book, he was a heavy metal music fan, and he has this, collection of the CDs of different bands, and one of these bands has a album, and in this album one of the songs was Neuroshima, and Michael thought it is a cool name. He noted it down, and then he introduced it to me, and he said maybe we can call it Neuroshima. I said that's fine, okay, let's call it Neuroshima. So it is a title of the song. Grzegorz asked me if I will tell about Necropunk. I'm not sure if we have time. If we have time, I will talk about the Necropunk, but I want to pass as much knowledge about the world of Neuroshima as possible. So this is it. Now let's talk about the mutants. So in Neuroshima Hex, in the base game of Neuroshima Hex, you have this faction called Borgo mutants, the blue faction. So you may wonder how this. By the way, this is the first edition of the game. This is how it looked back then. How these mutants came up. So what's going on with the mutants? Why Borgo? And this is also quite the important part of the lore. So this is not some random mutants. No. So Moloch, when he attacked the humans, and when he moves forward and tries to kill everybody, every living human being, at the same time he experiments. At the same time he does some science discoveries. He has laboratories, believe it or not, and he tries to experiment on humans and create some new species, I would say. And in the book, we described 4 different waves of humans changed by the Moloch, and we call them mutants. But basically, these are humans kidnapped by the Moloch. Then these very weird, terrible operations and scientific experiments were taken, and the Moloch created the first wave of these modified humans, mutants, wave first. and we described in the rulebook that the Moloch didn't know what he was doing, and this first wave, they died very quickly, they were not able to reproduce, etc., etc. And then there was the second wave of modified humans, who was still kidnapping people and changing and experimenting. And once again, there was a not successful experiment. And now the Borgo, the ones that are here in this board game, and they are in the 51st state, this is the fourth generation of these experiments. This is the fourth generation of mutants. This is the fourth generation of DNA, human DNA changed and modified by Moloch. And now they are in power. They can populate. They are quite strong. They are not sick like regular humans. And they look like a new race, new species that will live on Earth. So this is once again quite terrible story, detailed, described in the book, how Moloch was doing experiments on humans, and how it happened that now the mutants are in the game. And of course, there's a lot of, once again, ideas for adventures, because these unsuccessful experiments, these mutants from the wave 1 and wave 2 and wave 3 are still somewhere living. So you are visiting different villages, you are visiting different places, locations, when you are playing role-playing game, and you will meet these mutants, and the players can recognize them. This is the guy, this is the mutant from the first wave. He's poor, he cannot help, he cannot defeat us. We might want to help him, or maybe we want just to kill him to spare him pain. And this is once again quite a serious challenges for the players to approach this problem, because they know that these first waves mutants, they were basically humans after experiments of this evil guy Moloch. So this is it. So the Borgo, now the Borgo is the bad guy. Like, this is a experiment that went well. These are humans changed to some very, very dangerous mutants, and this is enemy of the humans. But before that, there were lots of mutants who were just people needed help. So this is it. And now, if we talk about the basic functions of Neuroshima Hex and how they are described in the game of Neuroshima role-playing game. So once again, Moloch, AI, rebelled against humans, killed many humans, polluted the water, polluted the air, did terrible things in big cities in America and other parts of the world. Nukes sent to different cities, Los Angeles, etc., etc. Many people killed, and Moloch is building up something. And we don't describe the reason. Players have to figure out, game masters have to figure out, but we quite detailed explain what he's doing. He's building up, he's moving south. There is a strategy in what he's doing. And if you read the rulebook very carefully, if you make notes about the Moloch, what you said about the Moloch in the book, and if you make like a deduction, you may discover the strategy, what he wants to achieve. Because we want, as the designers, we know what he wants to achieve, and it's not a random shit. Like, he wants to do something, and this is but this is never said openly in the book. You have to figure it out. So one of the powers, Moloch. The other power is Borgo. I told you, these are the mutants. This is the fourth wave of the mutants. So these are these badass mutants that hate people. Then we have the outpost, the Green Army, the outpost. This is the army this is people, forces, soldiers trying to stop Moloch. We described that we have the whole chapter about about the war against Moloch and about the soldiers, and this is a guerrilla fighting. There's no way that the humans can fight against Moloch in a one-to-one real battle like our forces against robots. No, this is all guerrilla fighting. There are small skirmish units moving very fast around the infrastructure of Moloch and exploding, destroying, doing traps, ambushes, etc. So this is amazing content for the role-playing games, amazing content for playing, being this soldier and preparing some ambushes and fighting the Moloch machines. And there's always a couple of soldiers against one machine or two machines, because we always need to ambush them. There's no way we can fight in a direct combat. And we described in the book the strategy, how the outposts want to win. We described a couple of the most famous officers and sergeants and generals. We described, of course, the main general of the human resistance, human outpost, and this is amazing stuff. Like you always at some point want to play this resistant and find against Moloch, and this is a great time to play a role-playing game in that way. And then there is the fourth army, the yellow army in Neuroshima Hex. This is the hegemony. So the hegemony are basically criminals, thugs, bad people. And we created a lore for this faction in a very simple way. There was a huge prison in America, and when the Moloch attacks, this prison is suddenly open because Moloch is fine with people killing each other. So all the bars are open. So the criminals go out of the jail. They kill all the guards, and now, of course, the strongest, the most evil, the most badass criminal takes the command over this prison. He says, okay, so now you are listening to me. We are creating a new land. This prison is our capital, and we start from that, and we will conquer everybody else. And they start growing, and they start killing people unless you want to join them, unless you're a badass, unless you want to kill people, unless you're a bad person, unless you're a criminal. You can join, unless otherwise you are killed. And the hegemony is growing, and as the role-playing game describes, and as the Neuroshima Hex shows it, at some point, this is a regular faction. This is hundreds of people under the command of some psycho, criminal, very bad person who has a huge leadership skills, and who made all these terrible people, the worst people on the earth, working for him to create the hell all around. So that's why hegemony in Neuroshima Hex fights mostly in melee combat, because they don't have a armory like outposts. They don't have a machine guns like outposts. These are just thugs who have a knife, has an axe, and he's very, very bad person. So this is how hegemony was created in a role-playing game, and then how we translated it into a Neuroshima Hex. I see fans from Poland supporting me with more detailed information, so I appreciate that, because of course in this 45 minutes I cannot talk about everything, so I appreciate if you add more info. So for all of you who are watching this right now or later, check out then the chat, because I see our fans from Poland helping you, giving even more insight for the game. Let's talk about the troglodytes, because this is the army that yesterday we did a live stream. This is a new army that will be released in September, and this is army that is from a real book. So this is real stuff. I'll try to find it here in the book to show you that it is really from this very book. Yes, so we have it here. Marek, can you tell me if people will see that this illustration? It is okay. So this is illustration from the original book. In the original book, they were called Warriors of the Ice, and in the original book, we describe them. They live at this location, former Canada, north of the state. And how many of them? A lot. Armory very weak, equipment very weak. Allies, no. How you can join them? Only by being born. So this is a one-page description, and what we described here was that in Canada, because of the climate changes, because of the Moloch attacking and changing the weather with all these nukes sent to different places in America. In North America, in Canada, there is a freezing winter, and people are just dying out of the hunger. And at some point, in the desperation, they start eating each other. They are becoming cannibals. And over the years, when the war continues, the tribe of cannibals become the strongest one and rules the north. So in the north of the America, you have a Moloch, but even further in the north, there are these mountains, winter, and cannibals from Canada. So this is a troglodytes. This is a real thing from the original book, coming this September to the world. What else? As I said, we cannot talk about everything because there's so many armies, so many interesting things to talk about Let me just find the New York. Let's talk about the New York, because this is also very important faction in the base game of Neuroshima role-playing game. So when we were writing this game, we decided that the New York will be the symbol of the patriotism, of the courage, of the belief in a resurrection of America. Back then we were very young, so we didn't know much about America. This was our perception, but we decided, okay, let's make New York as this place where the American dream will be there still alive, and people will be believing that they can bring America back to life. So New York is the place when they have a very strong president of the governor of the city. It is described in the base game, and as I said, we also released the whole expansion for the New York. And this governor believes he can build an army to support outposts, to help outposts find the Moloch, but also like the outpost is, as I said, skirmish, small units, ambushes. The government of New York believes he can build the power, he can build the soldiers, he can build the real units and have a combat with Moloch like a real one. So we changed the setting of the New York into the police city. It is ruled by the powerful governor. It is ruled on the streets by the police. They capture people, they make them join the police, they join the forces, and they are building an army. They have a very high taxes, they have a very strict laws. This is like a police city. And the reason for that is because they believe they are building, rebuilding America, and they can rebuild America only by being focused, strict, and move the one common goal. So that's why when you play Neuroshima Hex and when you play New York, you will see that many of the tokens in the game look like a policeman, like a guards, because this is the theme of the New York: policeman on the street, keeping the streets clean, preparing for the war, arming people, making the army. This is the New York in the world of Neuroshima, and that's why this is my favorite army in the Neuroshima Hex board game. I love these policemen with their weapon and fighting Moloch, and this is amazing time always when I play New York against Moloch, and I can imagine myself like, we are New York, we will not give up against Moloch, we will fight them, even though Moloch looks like a doom that we cannot escape. One of the things also that is might be very interesting in terms of the lore is the smart army. I don't know how many of you play this, because it's not a very popular army, a smart one, but this is very interesting in terms of the lore. So what happens here? We described in Neuroshima, the base game, as I mentioned earlier, what Moloch is doing. We left some clues for you to deduce what Moloch wants to achieve, what is his plan, what's going on. But in one of the expansions that were very, very important, because this expansion was covering the storyline of the game, so it was describing what happened over the next years. We described the inside of the Moloch. There was some part of the programs, software, AI, that rebelled against the Moloch. They decided, this new software and this modified software decided that the strategy, the goal that Moloch has, that we described here, is wrong, and this new AI, this new software, rebelled against Moloch, sent out, split, and is a separate army of machines that does something different. And once again, we never said openly what is the goal of Moloch. We never openly said what is the goal of the smart. But if you look very carefully in the materials we wrote, if you read every sentence like playing detective, you are able to figure out that these two machine armies have different goals, and they try to achieve something different. And I think this is a cool thing for players to, to investigate, to debunk, to talk on the forum, to talk at the conventions, to think what's happening, etc., etc. So this is a smart. This is a part of the Moloch that rebelled against Moloch, but still is fighting humans and everybody else. And this is it. Smart is fantastic, says Benjamin. I see Michalus. Thank you, Michalus, for helping me here with the description of the word. I appreciate that a lot. and I see that Michal is talking about no jungle, so of course he is absolutely right. No jungle, another huge, powerful faction in the game. And let me show you the map of the game. We have the map here now. In the first edition there was no map, but I have map here. Mark, can you confirm me that if people see that in the camera? So you see the Moloch side, yes, in the north, and here you can see no jungle. The power from the south, from the south countries, moving forward, moving upward, moving north, and basically we left these humans between two forces that want to crush them. And Neo Jungle is like a mutated mutants, but plants and different things, very powerful. And this is just the power of nature. There is no software. There is no goal. It's just growing because of what happened with the environment, because what happened after the radiation, what happened with all this pollution, and these plants started to, modify themselves and change, and we have this living, growing, very awkward Neo Jungle. And as I said, we dedicated the Neo Jungle the whole expansion. We have the whole. Let me just grab it. We have the whole Miami expansion that describes Miami and all the areas around Miami. And I don't want to terrify my employee Lugotwinowski, who lives in Florida, but according to this book I have in hand, this is not the place that you want to live. Here's amazing illustration. By the way, this illustration was done by Tomasz Oracz, who is the older brother of Michael Oracz. Michael Oracz has amazing brother who is illustrator. So this is No Jungle solved there, and this is one of my favorite illustrations in the whole game. It describes how we saw Miami back then when I was 20 years old, and we had a tagline about Miami, and we said, "Believe me, alligators is your least problem in Miami," because of course the biggest problem was in Neo Jungle. So this is it. This is a short 40-minute seminar about the world of Neuroshima. As I said, I appreciate you being with me today. I appreciate the help here on the chat. And as always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please follow us on a Twitch. Please follow us on social media. We love to tell stories. This is Portal Games, the board games tell stories. We always want to talk about our lore, our world, all this why Mississippi, why Mephisto, what is the Sharash. Like, there's so many stories that we can discuss with you, and all we need from you is engagement, the likes, comments, giving us a sign that you want to have it. Every time we see a comment under our videos, it makes us happy. It means that somebody was watching, that somebody cares. Each time we see a thumb up under the video, that means that somebody enjoyed this video and have a great time. So we are happy to provide you more content. We're happy to create more videos about our games, and all we need, give us thumbs up, subscribe, give us comments, let us know that you enjoy this content, let us know in the comments what you want to see next, let us know what you want us to record for you. We are here for you. So just communicate with us, be with us, engage with us. And this is it for today from Portal Games offices. And this is it from our Polish side. We have almost 7 p.m. Sunday 7 p.m. in Poland, and since now Portal Games US is taking the convention, and they will be on fire today. Let me just grab again the plan of the convention, so I can just list you very quickly. PortalCon online. I'm here. So right now, in 15 minutes, we have Dawn and Ben, our two amazing volunteers, teaching you how to play Robinson Crusoe. So please stay with them, learn how to play Robinson Crusoe. Many of you probably have the game Robinson Crusoe in your collection, and you were always afraid of playing because of the huge rule book. Now you have a chance to learn. You can ask questions because they are on the chat, so you can engage them and learn how to play Robinson Crusoe for you is amazing opportunity to finally crack this game open. After that, 1 hour later, we have Luke Otfinowski from Portal Games US discussing Detective Line, and he will be talking about all the expansions for Detective, all the single cases, or the campaigns, or the spin-offs, what's in the works, and he will talk about anecdotes, he will talk about how these products were designed, which are for the beginner players, which are for the experienced players. So there'll be a lot of content for you, 45-minute seminar like that one, but about Detective. So I strongly recommend to check it out. Then we get silly at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a charity auction, so I strongly recommend to join us and spend some money for charity for the good cause. And we make it this event silly because we are going to auction games and we are going to trash talk them. Like we are making roast auction, we are making silly jokes about these games, we are going to make silly jokes about publishers. This is just for the jokes, it's just for the fun. We don't mean the things that we will say, but it's basically to make you smile, to make you laugh, to be a little bit silly. So this is it, 3 p.m. EST, amazing roast auction for the good cause. Then we have a gameplay of Barbarian Hordes, David and Paul from our Twitch channel. I strongly recommend to check out our Twitch channel. All this gang, the Portal Games US, all this content that will be now streamed is streamed by our Twitch channel team. We have a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/PortalGamesUS. We have 8 people running this channel, posting content almost every single day. And you can see today Paul and David playing Barbarian Hordes on pre-order since yesterday, so you will see the new expansion. And once again, because this is a live stream, you can ask them questions about the rules, you can ask them questions about their opinion about the expansion, you can ask them to show to the camera more cards, etc., etc. Then at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a Portal Games contest, Portal Games quiz. This is your chance to win prizes, and we have coupons to our web store, so you will be able to spend dollars and euro for great games and promos and gear, etc. And this contest will be run by Tony and Marty from Rolling Dice and Taking Names, so it will be very fun, it will be silly fun. I cannot wait to watch it tomorrow because it will be very late night for me in Poland, so I will not be able to watch it live, but I will watch it for sure tomorrow morning. Portal Games contest today, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we have a Monolith Arena gameplay, and then we have something super silly, super ridiculous, Portal Games stand-up. I'm doing a stand-up, it will be pre-constructed. We already recorded that here in the office, so it is a 1 hour silly jokes about my job, my company, and some fun anecdotes. So I hope you will have a ton of laugh out of this Portal Games stand-up, and we finish at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with Q&A with the whole Twitch team. So once again, you will be able to meet them, to talk to them, to congratulate them. Amazing content they produce for you. So stay with them the whole day. Amazing PortalCon Online still for the next many hours. And I go to home. It's 7 p.m. in Poland. Time to go to bed, maybe at some point. Thank you for being with us. I appreciate that. Thank you once again for all the likes, for all the subscribes, for all the comments, for all the shares. We appreciate it. We are doing this convention for you. So every single thumb up, every single comment, every single engagement means a lot to us because we know that you enjoy what we do for you. Thank you. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.